Today's Chivalry 2 gameplay, we are playing alongside a close friend and destroying Lionspire on defense using the Greatsword. What is going on, guys? It's Sean Islami, and community is what keeps me playing Chivalry 2, and I have very few friends in that community I love as much as Crowbar. Outside of being a good friend, this dude is a monster at Chivalry 2, and we smash this lobby together. Let's get into the gameplay where we'll have a lot of cool moments of me and him fighting together, and we'll have our relaxing commentary, and we'll answer a few viewer-submitted questions a little later. Let's get into it. Now we're going to get into some little emoting fun, and of course, they always say it's the 1Ks that ruin these, but it's really not. It's always the default skins or the archers, and that's exactly what happens. The Chivalry 2 subreddit is full of the biggest, just bunch of social rejects I've just ever seen in my entire life. They're really good at gaslighting themselves and each other into thinking that 1Ks are just sweaty and taking the game too serious, because they just, the whole Reddit prides itself on being bad at the game, which is fine as long as you're having fun, but the reason a lot of people play this game and get to 1K is because they're having fun and have met a lot of people along the way that keep them playing. It's not really just for the combat. I mean, this game is fun, but I don't think I'd still be playing it years later if it wasn't for people I've met like Crowbar and others. So, I don't know, just avoid that Reddit at all costs. It's just full of misinformation and very dumb people. But yeah, I'm just a team stacking 1K, meaning I like playing with my friends. If you didn't know, a heavy greatsword overhead one-shots archers, and it's just beautiful. We love to see that. I'm avoiding going over to the beach because I don't want to get killed by the catapult or a spawn wave coming in, but Crowbar says, stop being a bitch. We're going to go in there and get into some fights, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to listen to him. As you can see, bro very much likes those special attacks on the Warhammer. He does them a lot. And that teabag is because that's an archer. I don't usually teabag people unless they do it to me first or it's an archer. But that's why we did that. Now, something I'd like to ask you guys. In the comments, sticking with the theme of the video, I would like you guys to shout out who you think some of the best duos are, or some of the most underrated, or just shout out people you see playing together that you like recognizing in game. I think unequivocally the best duo is probably Help Me Stepbo and Recovering Banker, because they're the two best spear players and play together. It's hard to top that. But I would also like to shout out as an underrated one, Felinity Moon and Dev. So you guys got to comment yours down below. And yes, I don't think me and Crowbar are the best duo in Chivalry 2. Sorry about that being a little bit of a clickbait title, but you know, gotta do what I gotta do to compete with some of the bigger YouTubers out there. This was one of the weaker games I've had in terms of positioning recently, but I do have some tips I can give you. So right here, we see this ambusher. So how do you think we should fight this ambusher? Well, here's the answer. So we see no teammates around. We do a quick scan. We're by ourselves, and there's also a bunch of enemies with our back turned to us, so we're going to head that way. A smart way to play Chivalry 2 is to never take fair fights. Now, I probably would have fought that guy anyway, fully knowing it was the dumb call, but because he was an ambusher and I find them annoying to fight, I just went the other way. But if you had like a longsword or greatsword using the same weapon as me, I probably would have just went for it. But check this out. So Crowbar is up here dancing on the roof. We're not in voice chat, but I know what that means. We're throwing the objective. We don't want Lionspire to end stage 1. That would be a catastrophe. So we're going to go for a dance party up on this roof here while they just, as soon as we get off the objective, they're able to push it very easily because we were just a two-man army in this one. I thought this was going to be an easy fight after the guy goes for a kick. Usually people who kick a lot are bad, but this guy was clearly not. And Mizimus is going to get a kill. Good work. I feel really bad for these guys because they're actually playing the objective. They're getting in fights. They're engaging in the game, and they're going to get killed by a virgin teammate who's trying to pad his numbers. This is unbelievable. I believe this is the viewer Jacob that I've seen in the YouTube comment section. He's using a longsword, so we know he's a Chad, and because he watches the YouTube. But however, he's not in the Unyielding Discord. If you guys want to get games in or see yourself on video, join the Unyielding. The Discord is in the pinned comment. Well, I'm always down to get games in with you guys, so check that out if you'd like to get games in. Sometimes you just run into a better player, and IX Reaper is exactly that in this game. He killed me a bunch, so I do want to shout him out for the good fights. Me and Crowbar have just been mopping up everybody, and it's been a very fun game so far. So we're gonna just, yeah, we're gonna get a bit of main character syndrome here. Let's see how this goes. Not great. In a situation like this, when the objective changes, you want to rush back and then wait for the forward spawn thing to pop up and take it, but I'm just too impatient and dumb, so I'm going to get in a bunch of fights and die. Again, this is not exactly the strongest game positionally. We are dying a lot. We're getting a lot of kills, getting a lot of takedowns, getting into a lot of action, but again, we're dying a lot, so that's not great, but it made for a fun game. I mean, I struggle to just stay consistent, so there's always certain points in a video or a game where I just start spacing out and rushing in like a dumbass, and that's kind of what happened for a bit there. So this question is from Archon Knight. He wants to know, what music do I listen to when I play Chiv? Thank you for the question, Archon Knight. What I listen to during Chivalry sessions is either like Game of Thrones soundtracks or like Lord of the Rings soundtracks, stuff like that. Or I'll listen to my usual music, which is like sad boy indie rock music. And I have been getting into some shoegaze recently, which has been pretty cool. But my favorite bands are Black Country New Road, The Strokes, Were, and the recent one I've been getting into is Life on Venus, which is another shoegaze band. So yeah, if you guys are ever curious. And I would like to ask, if you've enjoyed the videos at this point, please give it a like and subscribe for future content. We recently hit 8,000 subscribers. Let's see if we can finish this Lionspire with a win. So as we win this game and the stats show on the screen, Crowbar had an even better game than us. And if you want to see a video where he carried me and I played terribly and it was the worst game I recorded, check it out. It's on screen now. Love you guys. See you in the next one.